Hi everybody, Zach here for another episode of our flagship program, The Spideydude Experience. This episode is brought to you by our loyal patrons over at patreon.com/Spideydude Network. Pledge today and get both early access to content on the main channel, as well as entirely exclusive content like brand new shows and commentaries for old Spidey stuff, including commentaries for the MTV series, for example, as well as the video editions for Voices from the Eyrie Gargoyles Podcast. And our Patreon first show focused on the Krakoan era of X-Men. We also want to encourage you to check out our other programs that are all available on Audio Edition. These are all over on Spideydude.com, and they're available on your favorite podcasting app. Shows like Clone Saga Chronicles, the show that started this entire network, Spectacular Radio, Spectacular Sal Buscema era podcast, Amazing Spider-Man Classics, the Slot Symposium, and the sister program on this channel, Make Mine Mayday. As always, be sure to hit the like button. It really does help us big time in the algorithm. And additionally, if you have topics you'd like to cover on a live show or in a recorded medium, make sure to leave a comment down below the description or shoot us an email at SpideydudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com. Finally, make sure to join our community. Be alerted to all new updates by hitting that subscribe button and clicking on the bell. But to be clear, your viewership is more than enough for us. And if you want to hang out with us off YouTube, you can always go to our Discord, where we have all sorts of fun stuff, or you can join us on our social medias and follow us there. All the links are down in the description below. As always, we want to be making some references to visual aids and or live comments. If you're an audio listener, pay that no mind, but leave that 5-star review for us. Any and all feedback we will read on future episodes. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get rolling with this episode of the Spideydude Experience. And hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode here on the Ultimate Spideydude Experience. Episode 18, covering the 18th issue of the Ultimate Spider-Man comic series that started last year in 2024. I'm Zach Joyner, your friendly neighborhood host, and as always, I am joined by my intrepid group of stalwarts, like Mr. Adam. Hello, Mr. Adam.
Hello, Mr. Zach.
And we have Mr. Neil.
Hi, Mr. Zach. Hi, Mr. Adam.
It's good to be here.
Hi, Mr. Neil.
Mr.
Hell
Neil.
yeah.
So we got already people in the comment section. Hey, we got Sarah, we got Tevya, and Vinkman. Hello there. Oh, hello there. That was a really bad impression.
What?
That was me attempting to do the Obi-Wan.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Anyone do the arthritis bot? Or no, asthma bot. General Grievous. I can't do the voice.
No, probably not.
Adam, can you do it?
Adam's just shaking his head no for audio listeners. All right, so tonight we are going to be talking about two issues. We're going to talk a little bit about Ultimate Incursion, number 1.
I'm going to talk about a little bit. You'll get to listen to more of it on Crawl Space's Sats episode, but that's just kind of
Are you covering it on Call Space Sats?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, so go to patreon.com/crawlspace. Last week, Brad showed up and created all sorts of chaos for me and Adam.
Good chaos or bad chaos?
And Walter.
And Walter, yeah, it was me, Adam, and Walter. Adam, I'll let you be the judge. Was it good or bad chaos?
It was fine.
It
got wild after the show.
Poor Adam didn't realize that some of Adam or Brad's antics behind the scenes he had never seen before.
Well, I had seen them before, but I had forgotten, honestly.
Sarah said it was good chaos because she was there to witness it. So yeah, check out last week's episode if you have not already. All right, so
in some ways I kind of wish I'd been there, but also I didn't feel like talking about giant size ASM. So
man. So only Walter and I had read that?
I guess so. Yeah. I listened to the audio version. Or I listened to it when I was at work, and the minute I heard the phrase Sinister 69, I made a internal thought, I'm glad I didn't read this.
Yeah, it was only oh god, it was only fans picks chaos. Yep, that was a topic. All right, so not a lot of news this week.
And we
Other
talked
than-
about Spider-Man 94 last time, so
yeah. Your thoughts on that, Neil?
well, the art looks kind of shit.
Yeah,
Where Peter looks like fucking Paul Dano.
yeah. Okay,
And you know,
Art-
just
first of
to
all-
preface this, I kind of had a feeling that Marvel wasn't going to throw like their top tier A talent at this book, just because Marvel's A tier talent is kind of spread thin right now. But like, can we get a little nicer, please?
For the record, we are interviewing JMD in August, so after San Diego. Just so that the people know. So that'll be coming out in August, closer to the time, of course, when the book comes out.
That's in September, right?
What?
The
It
book
comes
in
out
September, right?
the first week of September. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so pick it up. Look, apparently they're going to bring Kane into the 94 universe. So
And Moreland.
Kane and Moreland. Yeah.
Oh, here's some news. Spider-Boy ended this week.
yeah, Spider-Boy came out with its final issue, which is it Dan Slott's last hurrah at Marvel? Question mark.
Pretty much.
Well, Nick Lowe did say that they're working on a new volume of Spider-Boy on the Bird app. No,
But
not
will
on the Bird
Slott-
app. On
but will Slott be writing it?
no, I don't think so.
Who would be? Okay, I don't get the hate for Spider-Boy.
It's all right. It's a kid's book.
It's like Spidey super stories in the modern day, which I know Brad was so insulted when I said that to him. But like, to me, is
I feel like it's not. I haven't read any of it. I feel like it kind of. There's no way it's Spidey, because Spidey Super Stories level is like. That's like children. That's like
okay. It's
like
got
first graders.
It's got a whimsy to it that I feel like he was trying.
It's basically letting Slott lean into his strengths, where he's not like feeling pressure to like try and write like an adult. He's basically allowed to write like a kid. Also,
Yeah.
the villain of one of the hypothetical villain Peter comes up with, like one of the best C-list villain concepts in a very long time.
I don't know. Like, did I like all of the like high evolutionary stuff? No, that was like my least favorite stuff.
You know what? I'll give Sarah credit that the premise on its own is somewhat infuriating, but
That's funny. The whole premise pisses
I think
me off. That's funny.
yeah, the premise is a little infuriating on at face value, but once you get past that and actually like get invested in the character,
Like,
it's relatively endearing. I'm not going to pretend that like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's not the return to form that Spider-Man needs, but it's okay. Not every book needs to be an Eisner winner. Some books can just be slop.
Listen, to me, it's a book that you could give to your kids.
This is
easily.
Scholastic Book Fair material.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not intended. It's not intended to be like. It's a good gateway for kids.
The biggest mistake this book had was being a direct market release.
Yeah,
because it should have been Scholastic Book Fair material. Of course, Marvel really wants that short-term profit Purple Dragon, but
look,
if they'd held off a little bit and just waited to release it in like digest form or paperback, then I think they would have been a much better release.
I think it'll do well, truthfully, if they
assuming they do make it in Scholastic Book Fair.
It would be a great candidate. I know Marvel and them had a great relationship at one point with Scholastic, but then it kind of deteriorated. I don't know what Penguin Press's relationship with Scholastic Book Fairs.
This is a dumb question. Isn't Sarah a teacher?
Yes,
Sarah. I want to know like what the Scholastic Book Fair looks like recently, because I haven't seen ones in
That's a good question.
Almost 8 years now. Because I was a high schooler in 2017. God help me.
I feel like they stopped doing it in high school for me. I just remember it from like elementary school.
It was
the reason I'm curious is because I know they released comics, and I remember
like
very vividly Marvel really tried to push Champions, the one with Kamala, Nova, and Miles. And they released the single direct market issue in the book fair, which I thought was insane. But that I don't know how well that experiment did, and I'm wondering whether Marvel's trying to replicate it, or whether they've tried to since, or what the. Okay, so Ryan. Oh, I forgot Ryan's also a teacher. As a teacher, you have everything from Clifford to Five Nights at Freddy's, and there's a lot of adventure stories, mostly trades and youth novels. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured.
So I wonder if Marvel released you know how DC has the compact editions, which is like the manga size digest for $10. Yes. How well this one would do in that?
Yeah, I think you could put literally half the issues of this run into one of those manga size digests and sell it at a book fair, and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
it is. Marvel's kind of floundering with their attempt to recreate it, like the premiere editions, where it's like individual stories and doesn't really work out that well. But this feels like it actually fits really well into the archetype DC intended for it.
They were doing some stuff, like they did Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane recently in like a small, cheap format, but I don't know. Yeah, they really because they canceled the Mighty Marvel Masterworks, which those were like kind of the same thing, but they were the early stuff, like early Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and Hulk and Doctor Strange and Avengers and Black Panther, etc. Like, but they canceled those, and they're doing I feel like the premiere thing is. I think the premiere thing is not skewed for kids, really.
The problem is that it's a very reactionary release, where like they saw how well the DC compact editions were doing, and they're like, oh, we want that market share. And then
but the problem is like Marvel's like not cheap. They don't want to be cheap. They want to like, because trades are now $20 instead of $15, and these things are the premiere collections are $15 when they should be like 10 if they want to compete with DC. But
yeah, like the reason the compact editions do so well is because they're $10.
Yeah,
they're not. It's not like new. It's not like newsprint.
$5. It's also the places where they're selling it too. I mean, you're selling it at Dollar Tree
and bookstores, like at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, so like by even the dollar, I think the stuff at Dollar Tree is like $1.99. I think that's a genius spot, because you got a lot of people that are shopping there trying to save money on stuff, and you know what? Hey, I can get.
Didn't DC used to do those grab bags at Walmart where you got like 3 singles for like $2, and they were dog shit? Sarah, real quick, I've got to ask, the Doc Ock manga, is that the one where you know how in Kiss Players, when Starscream transfers his brain into like a high school Japanese girl, is this kind of like, is that the same thing? Zach, the less you know about Kiss Players, the better.
What?
What's that Impala song? The less I know, the better. That's kind of the mentality you should take with Kiss Players.
Like
Octogirl, yeah. Oh boy.
Is
you fucking freaks.
This can't be confused with Octomom, which those kids are like now 16 years old. Like that, yeah. You better you don't know me. Yeah, well, what?
Yeah, the Tame Impala song. Yeah, the less I know, the better.
Volume 2 came out soon.
How's it doing in Japan? I wonder, because that's like that's their domestic release. We basically get the translation.
She didn't mind it, apparently.
Really? Interesting.
She likes that slop, but not Spider Boy.
Okay, don't antagonize Zach. Don't do a Marvel and antagonize our fans.
Because it is kind of funny though to have Doc Ock's mind get randomly transferred into a Japanese schoolgirl.
Yeah.
What? I don't know how to feel about that.
What's the I don't know if you saw the Spider Boy issue. but
It's
I
also
don't
like
know
that.
what
It's
Slot
like
was
that
thinking
one
happened.
DC had a manga. Well, Japan has a manga that DC did that was I guess Batman became a child and Joker had to raise him. He became a bat baby kind of thing. Japan likes goofy shit like that.
That's not goofy. That would get you put on a registry in this country.
It is Japan. They sell in women's underwear in vending machines.
Well, they also have segregated subway cars because
Yeah.
Yeah.
what a great time. to
Yeah.
be
What
alive.
a time to be alive.
Okay. We did get a color preview for Black Cat. They brought back Brian Reber, which is not my first choice for interior colors, but fuck it.
Ask Neil about his colors, and he'll tell you.
J. Scott Campbell has 2 artist exclusive covers for Amazing Spider-Man #6.
Yeah, they're based on those ones from the 80s, the character ones from the 80s.
Yeah, let me pull up the Twitter link.
They have MJ and Peter as the Spider-Man suit, but he should have done black suit because that would have been like more of a direct reference.
Well, do you know what annoyed me about this cover? That hang on, I'm pulling up the link right now.
Okay.
What annoys me is that some characters are in their classic costumes, but others are in their modern ones. Like if you look closely, Iron Man's in something approximating like the MCU modern costume. Scott and Jean are in their classic costumes, like the Claremont era, and then you've got Storm and Xavier in their modern Krakoan era costumes, and Scarlet Witch over in her McKay Avengers costume.
Yeah, and Venom's not right, as well as Miles is in his classic suit,
and Magic's in the Chalo costume.
I do like that Mary Jane. That is a good Mary Jane, though.
It doesn't feel like this. It doesn't feel like the same face.
Yeah. Well, and the perspective's nice, so you don't have the unrealistic proportions. That looks like something. There's not the boob socks effect that normally occurs.
I mean, it's kind of there, but it's like
it's kind of there, but like if you know, not that I am one to comment on female fashion, but yeah, it's not. It doesn't have that.
It feels less alarm bell raising. Like where are her organs? Please get her to a hospital.
Yeah, I mean, if we saw those hips, then we probably have some series of questions that she looks like she might need to eat a sandwich. But it's not nearly as bad because the focus isn't on the body itself; it's more on that face.
Yeah, Sarah's right. It's a cool cover. I'm not.
Yeah, the Spider-Man.
I think it's more of a peeve of the. I might have it. I think it's on the Crawl Space Discord. One sec. Keep talking, please. Here we go. See, this one looks good. I like that.
It is one of his better. But again, you don't have the issues with his feet the way that he draws the feet sometimes with the duckbill feet. Again, it kind of has that same quality to it. Waylon is using my chair to scratch his head because he wants pets. And then he just burped. It doesn't have that like uncanny. Like again, the perspective looks good. Everything about the rest of the cover looks good. So
that's
that's
homaging those colors right there.
Yeah, those are.
And someone's like, "Oh, look, magic! I'm gonna buy the book now." Okay, so that's a cool cover.
I would say the only questionable costumes on there maybe are the Storm and Professor X ones, just because they're so modern, and all the other ones are relatively classic looking.
Like it's either commit to the bit or not, right?
Yeah,
go with the classic or don't.
There is a ASM 100 homage cover with Stitch.
Oh, Stitch? Stitch has a cover?
Oh, Helen means sell MJ to the devil.
So handsome. And on that note, we'll bring in Ashley.
Hey, Abby, Abby.
No.
And she's like, I'm out.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, Ashley's here. Yay.
Yippee!
Yippee.
Yippee. Applause.
More
It
charts.
sounded like a fart.
What?
Did no one else hear? Like Zach tried to do the soundboard and then it sounded like a fart.
No. Okay, that's awesome.
I love
I
it
actually
so
want that one.
much.
I actually want that one.
Hey! Give him to the State Department.
Hey, look at him how it looks.
They're so adorable.
It also looks a lot like the 90s show Spider-Man.
It does, yeah. That was my first
Not
one.
unsurprising. And Vinkman says, "Huzzah!" to Ashley's arrival.
There's so many
Yippee.
things that are happening right now on this page.
Yeah, the 11th anniversary.
Well, I was looking at all the background characters on it.
Have you never seen the original cover?
No.
So I'm gonna
Oh,
get my
no.
copy.
Now we have-
Safe
now
to
we have-
say, I did not.
Hang on. Amazing Spider-Man 100.
You might have. It's been on shirts and stuff.
Oh, then probably.
Yeah, here we go. Marvel.com. Open image in new tab. Present. Share screen. This is the original cover. By Jazzy
Oh,
John Romita Sr. So we've got Craven the Hunter, Dr. Octopus, Mary
I
Jane,
haven't seen that. I love that.
Captain Stacy, that's Robbie, Dr. Doom.
You just realized in the Stitch cover, Jonah isn't smoking. So the Joe Quesada or Kingpin.
Yeah,
The Joe Quesada rule remains supreme, I guess.
Yeah, they got Aunt May, who looks suspiciously a lot older than she does. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Gwen. That's not Mary Jane. That's Mary Jane. You know how I can tell?
People say that Romita draws them differently, which he does, but barely. They're basically the same woman with slightly
A
different-
headband.
The headband and the dimples.
Yeah. I mean, those are the keys, but like the base model is essentially the same.
Oh, yeah.
The hair's going in an opposite direction, but it's copy paste face and a headband.
Yeah.
So I agree with that.
Yeah. Now, like, when they're colored, obviously, it's a little.
Well, yeah, it's easier.
Some of
to-
those other faces also.
Oh,
look
we did have
similar.
a bit of a hubbub over some breakdown in communication on the Ultimate stuff. There was a thing going around saying that all the Ultimate titles were going to end with issue 24,
Right.
and then it turned out that it was just the I think it was a translator misinterpreting the quote.
Oh, no. We also got a little bit of Donnie Cates talking about the original premise. Did we talk about that last week? Adam, I don't remember.
I guess the refresher is just that I think it was gonna be a continuation of the original Ultimate Universe where Peter was like a single dad who killed Gwen by accident. I guess the book was gonna be how Peter Parker got his groove back.
Which is weird because yes, he had the relationship in the later part of the run, but like,
I feel like the interview is weird because they're taking, choice quotes from the larger interview. So I feel like Donnie Cates was talking about 616 Spidey and 1610 Spidey and how he was basically sort of critiquing Marvel for not letting him grow up in 616 by saying he already, got Gwen killed accidentally, and then he was kind of talking about what he would do for his thing by having him be a single dad or whatever it was. I don't know. It was kind of we talked about how the interview was sort of, not the interview, but the article was kind of written strangely.
poorly? Can we say
Yeah.
poorly?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Because Spider-Man was created in 1942 because he's 80 years old, and yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing. know a friend. We have a friend of the show that writes for the same website, so the jokes write themselves. I was like, I know
his articles are always fine.
So, all right. So let's get into the first issue of the night. We'll talk a little bit. We're just gonna blow through this because I don't think Ashley, you got a chance to read this either.
For
Ultimate Incursion.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Denise Camp and Cody Ziegler with Jason Scharf and Edgar Delgado. Basically, the book is, if you remember at the beginning of the Ultimate Universe, Maker gave Miles a blank business card and said, "Hey, buddy, if you change your mind about not wanting to come screw a universe with me, use this or something." Miles gets stressed and he tosses the card, and then, oops, looks like Miles's baby sister Billy got transported away by the card, and Miles has to chase after her.
This was in the Free Comic Book Day issue that came out in May.
That's also part of this one.
Yeah, I know.
So the Maker's technology appearing has all the council members going, "Oh, I want that shit. Give it to me." Peter and Richard. The reason I think this isn't canon is because Peter and Richard are in New York together, even though they were just in Utah. And
unless this is taking place during the current arc of today.
Yeah. And he and Richard help Miles look around the city. Nothing really happens. They fail. Peter and Richard run away, and that feels with a lot of character. Oh, Peter spends the whole issue being a little peeved that Richard likes Miles more than Peter as a role model. And then the Ultimates intercept Miles. Jan's big, Awooga.
We need that on a soundboard.
Tall woman, Awooga.
Mm-hmm.
Awooga.
Just the Awooga.
I could probably find the sound. Don't you underestimate my power, my dear.
That's Spidey power.
All right. So yeah, that's more or less. So only Neil and I read it. I did not like this artwork. I'll be honest.
I thought the art was okay, but it felt a little inconsistent.
Very tonally inconsistent. It's just not my cup of tea. The next issue comes out next week, but it's just one of those things. I'm interested. I am interested in the story and how it ties into the larger part of the Ultimate Universe, but other than that, kind of meh. Apparently,
I'm pretty certain this isn't canon.
Ryan is host of the Pixel Classroom, so he says he was so disappointed in it. So, Sarah, did you read it?
I think that should tell us everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Blazo. Peter Richards' voice fell hell off as well. He can't lie. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think that was part of the problem, too. It's when does this take place?
Why does everything feel so off?
Yeah, just it doesn't like it feels very disjointed from the rest of the narrative. So if I give it a grade, it is
I guess I'd give it a C.
I was gonna say, just based on that front cover and not even reading it and just listening to a little bit about it, I would have probably rated it that too.
Yeah, letter grade C for me as well. It was a straight C. It's not a terrible book, but it's just yeah. So Neil, you said you gave it a C. I'm not.
Yeah, that's not.
That was your old
That's
grade.
not it.
Neil's grade is a C, and my grade is also a C.
I will definitely have to read it though, because I still want to, regardless.
Honestly, not the ultimate. I didn't think Denise Camp wrote anything in here. This felt like an all Ziegler thing.
Yeah,
like having read
It was
Ultimates,
like plot. Maybe he did some plot stuff, plot consultation.
probably consulted on like what's going on in the universe.
Ryan Reed gave it a C-. So Sarah's gonna read it for tomorrow on the Spider-Man Crawlspace's Patreon exclusive satellites.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go to the main event of the evening, issue number 17. of
It's 18.
18. Sorry, I was smoking the dope again. Issue 18. Neil, as always, per Ashley's request, you forever have the recaps.
Okay, so Ultimate Spider-Man 18. Written by Jonathan Hickman, art by Marco Cicchetto, colors by Matt Wilson. In Utah, there's a plane. It's flying, and it lands next to the Parker family. The plan is that Peter is going to go back to New York with Harry, and MJ and the kids are going to stay behind. In order to replace Peter as the, I guess, father figure of the group, he's brought in everyone's favorite yaoi couple, Jonah and Ben, to hide out with them for a bit. And MJ gives him a kiss goodbye, and he leaves. And Peter and Harry do a bit of catch up, and Peter goes, "Hey, where's Gwen?" Cut to the Mysterio table. That sounds a little unexciting. What do we call this thing?
Mysterio Cabal.
The orb table.
That's so much nicer than the things that were going through my brain to call it. So we'll go with one of those. I like the Cabal. I like the
Mysterio Fishbowl headquarters.
Yeah, the fishbowl table. Yeah, that's what we're gonna call it now because there's a fishbowl in the table. So, anyways, what's this one guy? The one with the white hair?
There's that's Quentin Beck.
That's Quentin. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's Wesley and Robbie and Gwen and.
So basically, everybody's cranky at Gwen because she decided to go to war against the Kingpin and the rest of the Six. And Gwen's basically like, I'm sick and tired of sitting here talking. I want to do some action. I want to do a terrorism. May I do it as a treat? And then the fifth Mysterio,
sweet little treat. That's all I want.
All I want to do,
I just
want to do a little terrorism. Come on, I'm just a birthday boy. Anyways,
the Cabal of balls.
The fifth Mysterio is revealed, and I don't know who this is. I think it's either I think it's Vanessa Fisk, but I've heard that it also could be Elaine from The Simpsons in Marvel's Thunderbolts. She's basically like, "Hey, if we're not willing to actually do something, are we really committed to this?" Gwen, thank you. And Gwen's like, "Okay, we're off to the races." Cut to a fucking banging panel where Peter and Harry are flying around town, and Peter's like, "Oh, it feels so good to be back. We got an hour to kill. Let's go fight some bad guys." And it cuts to another homage where it cuts to an homage of the Romita Jr. It was an interior page, right? Or
no, it was the cover. It's
the cover. Yeah. Of like issue 60 something.
It's on my wall. It's right there.
Where Peter and Harry are going around fighting bad guys. We get what's the guy from Rainbow Six Siege? I don't care. We get the Rainbow Six Siege guy back. He's got the actual Shocker mask though. Hey, look, here's more villains we haven't seen before, but I guess are intrinsic to the plot. Hammerhead and Vermin. Because we've seen them before, I guess. And with a quarter
why
an hour...
not? Why not?
He's a
Vermin's the only one I would be like, huh? What's Vermin doing here? Hammerhead makes sense.
You can write off Hammerhead as just being like a crime guy, but Vermin's like, wait a minute, doesn't this require like a bit more to explain him?
Like, what's more? Yeah, like
he has his listen, he's half man, half rat, and he has his spot in the tunnels. Okay? Just let him be an overgrown rat and eating alligators from the Savage Land.
You know what I would have liked? A little cameo from my boy Shift. Just popping out of there from the side, just like
for no reason. Like he doesn't even belong here. He's just there for no reason.
Just like the Vermin. Like, well, he has a like I'm
identity.
here.
I don't know if you know this, Ashley, but he has a secret identity. He has a name. His name is Jamie.
I don't like that. Take that back.
So anyways, with a half hour left to go.
Pulling the mask off of Batman and being like, oh, it's just this rich dude that lost his parents. Like, no, don't ruin that for me. He is Shift. That's it. No Jamie, nothing. Continue, please.
Okay.
No.
Anyways, with a quarter hour left, Peter decides, hey, I want to go back to my house. I used to live there. I think that's pretty neat. I want to go see it. And they go in, and the place is a mess. There's pizza and tacos everywhere. What looks like a pair of Dr. Octopus arms. Speaking of the devil, hey, look, it's Otto Octavius. Turns out that he was installing the Parker House's surveillance system and security, and he thought, well, wait a minute, why don't I just bum here for the time that the Parkers aren't? Peter's understandably a little pissed that this man who's gained a little weight and looks like a I don't know what he looks like. He looks like he's gonna do a terrorism though. Is living in his apartment.
He looks like he hasn't showered or slept in like a month. Like he just wandered in off the street. That's what he looks like. He does. Like
he never takes off the goggles.
Yeah, squatters' rights. I think that's what was happening here.
Yeah, I mean, even Otto's just like, after I was done installing, I figured waste not, want not. And Peter and Harry swing off, and Peter says in the most foreshadowing way ever, "I'm sure glad my family isn't in harm's way." Meanwhile, back in Utah, Peter or MJ and the Parker family are heading back, and there's a note on the RV. Turns out that Richard's been texting Felicia, and she said, "Hey, baby, come over. My parents aren't home." And well, when a young lady propositions a young man like Richard, how can he refuse?
Yeah, he needs to go stop drinking the horny juice.
Yep. He was like, on my way.
Yeah, he
didn't even spell it out. It was OMW abbreviation.
OMW.
So Richard does that bit from Revenge of the Sith where he hides inside the cargo hold, and he arrives back in New York, and he crawls inside the window and says, "Hey, baby, where you at?" And turns out her parents are at home. Well, at least one, but I guess it's Black Cat and her other dad, Kingpin. Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Hey, so I know you're in league with Spider-Man, and one way or another, you're going to give him to me." And Richard says, "Wait a minute, I think I've seen this story before. It's called The Frog and the Scorpion. I'm the frog. Why would you do this to me?" "Lol," says the Scorpion. "Lamau." To be continued.
Because it's her nature. Da, da, da! Yeah.
Oh, wait, I was wrong. It's not Matt Wilson on colors. It's Erica Siniega. My apologies.
So on sale in July, issue 19.
Yeah, so the ultimate lesson of Ultimate Spider-Man, guys, never trust a woman when she says her parents aren't home.
That first love is going to break your heart.
Yep. Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Adam, your thoughts on the issue?
I like it. It's pretty well balanced. It's a nice little opener for the Sinister Six gang war stuff, I guess, coming up. I like the montage page a lot, but I still wish that we could get like a full issue dedicated to that.
Yeah, full action scene, yeah.
Yeah. It moves along pretty well. Well paced. The Black Cat thing is unfortunate, but it's a nice little plot twist.
I love how you say like it is what it is. It's like just it is what it is.
It kind of is, yeah.
I was really hoping that it wasn't going to be that way.
It's disappointing,
I kind of liked it. But she also said, "You're still my boyfriend." She was
but
like,
it does it provides an interesting wrench in the gang war going forward. Like, how is that all going to play out now? That like, is Richard actually like, what's Richard going to do now?
He could be like a little spy on the side, as to what's going on, playing both sides.
There's a lot of possibilities.
Pretending like he is, yeah.
So I don't know if anyone's read Hickman's X-Men, but there's a character called Iska the Unbeatable, whose allegiance changes depending on the situation, depending on who's winning. And I'm wondering if Hickman is kind of trying to put Felicia in the same archetype where she'll see who's on the winning team and jump ship.
I think it's a really fun twist on the Black Cat Spider-Man relationship, right?
I do like that. I don't know if they explicitly alluded to the idea of like Richard dating girls, but I like that he's book smart, but kind of a dipshit when it comes to like reading social interactions, like
Which is kind of classic Peter Parker too. Like,
I think that's young guys in general, but
Well, I mean, I wasn't
right, but it just
I
kind of
was-
fits into like being a standard like teenage dipshit boy who, hell yeah, I'm gonna rescue that girl. I'm gonna get laid.
I'm the
I mean,
real monster, bro.
you can tell that's what's going through his mind.
Yeah.
Here I am to save the day. And it was not here to save the day.
So
Right.
much riz that kid got in his brain. He's
Listen,
like, "Yep."
there's only enough blood to go from one spot or the other, and they can't be in the same spot at the same time.
Well, I said, I still like the part where he's like, "I thought we were together," and she's like, "Oh no, we still are." Like she's
Just
sure
I'm throwing you under the bus for my career. It's not personal. I'm just the scorpion and you're the frog.
But we're also together. Like, know that we're still together, whether you
We're
like it or not.
we're still a thing. Just I'm gonna throw you under the bus to get what.
Gonna get that Spider-Man, but
You're all mine.
It's one of those
Why are
things
you
where
saying it like
I
that
kind
now?
of it makes me a little disappointed in the monthly skip because it's like, oh, I'd actually like to see what happened, more of what happens here. But
I am also interested to see how much she told her father and Kingpin.
I mean, they explicitly say like she didn't say a lot, but it's enough.
well, he was giving
Her like a little bit of information, and Kingpin was using his big brain to read between the lines on what exactly he was giving her.
Big brain, big brain, big brain.
His body's just all muscle, including the brain.
That's fair.
That's
Ashley,
fair.
your thoughts on this issue?
Oh, I like it. I'm glad that they're like getting back to doing stuff, and him and Harry are together now, and we're seeing the side of the Mysterios and the dynamic and how that's working. That they're like, oh, great, like somebody finally pulled the trigger, and we're just not like around here, around the table the whole day. So I'm glad that they're also progressing too. Now, I do have a question. So now they're obviously on the outs with Kingpin in them, or no?
Who are?
The Mysterios.
I think they pretty much say like open, like Wesley's not in a position where he can explain away what
Like
Gwen
they went
has
to,
done.
they're going to like war with them basically. But
Yeah.
do they realize how many Mysterios there are, or do they just think it's one person?
So the assumption is Kingpin only knows it's one person.
One. Okay.
That
That
just
was my
sits there and they they play the hot potato with the amulet.
Okay. That was on my brain to ask. No, I thought this was solid. Like I said, I like all the dynamics. My boys were in this one, so obviously it's an A+. We're happy. We love
I was
it.
going to ask you, were you disappointed that they didn't share the pull-out bed?
The bed. I know, right? He was like, "Oh, I guess more for me this time."
Jesus Christ.
I love how you just did it in like the most gay voice. Like, I'm sorry, Ben. It's just
Oh my god.
more
I
for
just want-
me. I get
Yeah.
all the. I get.
Yeah, I do wish we had to bounce off of what Adam was saying earlier. I do wish we'd gotten more than just the splash page of the action. Like I wish we'd gotten a bit more, I don't want to say world building, but a bit more
Yeah.
like an idea of what the world looks like. Because that's usually Hickman's bread and butter. Like we usually excel more at like the building of the world around the characters. Usually with the Hickman book, it's at the sacrifice of character dynamics.
It's cool that we saw that we're seeing Shocker again. It would have been cool if we had maybe seen a Hammerhead before this.
Yeah, like
I
him, him
wanted
and
to
his boys working for Mr. Negative or something, like in that bank robbery scene.
Right.
Yeah. For me, what I would have wanted to see is now that it's almost 18 months since Peter fought the Shocker. Like, did he just whip his ass like a scalded dog?
I mean,
Yeah,
you can
so
you
that
can
would be
see
nice.
you can see in the action scene that it's taking Peter and Harry to subdue the Shocker,
Yeah,
which I thought was a nice little touch.
yeah. It's the antithesis of what Bendis used to do with the Shocker. Every time Shocker showed up in the original volume of Ultimate Spider-Man, he was such a joke of a character.
And it's weird that it's kind of bled over into the main universe.
It's now become a thing. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Shocker is kind of treated as just like this doofus moron. When that wasn't
He's smart. Like that. Unironically, Superior Foes is the book that redeemed Shocker.
Yeah.
Don't mock the Shocker.
Hello. Hey, look, Parker Emo. I have it on my desk.
So maybe this is maybe a weird suggestion. I think Vermin could have been replaced with like Tombstone.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: is that when you compare this to a book like Ultimates, where Ultimates like revels in how different the world is, and Hickman kind of emphasizes the world is more or less normal with some alterations. If you've read Ultimates, like Frank Castle was like a Rambo style mass shooter. They fought the Skrulls in the 70s, like in the interim. Just it feels like Vermin feels a little out of place in a city where things are supposed to be relatively normal. I don't know.
I'm just glad I knew who they were. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
You know what? Reading Spectacular Spider-Man helped you, because that's how you learned
I
about.
was gonna say shout out to Greg.
Shout out to Greg Weisman.
Yes, because I do know who that character is, and he put the little placard on them, so I definitely knew, and it stayed up here. So,
do we think Otto's gonna go anywhere, or is he just kind of stuck as like I don't want to say the butt monkey, but the guy who gets into wacky science situations?
I can see him working with Fisk at the end of all this.
Like a Tiberius Stone situation from time,
and then
do you think he's been doing it all along, or do you think that it's like he jumps ship when it's convenient for him? If you look at Otto in this universe, he seems to be more of like a I play for the winning team kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of curious, because like throughout most of the runs so far, we've mostly just seen Otto being kind of a doofus who gets into who deals with like the science stuff. I'm not sure if anyone noticed, but in the panel where Peter and Harry entered the apartment, there's like a bunch of tubes laying around. They look like Doc Ock arms.
Oh no, I thought that too.
Yeah, I think he's building out arms. I in fact, I almost know he's building out arms. That's my point. As I think that he's going to try to. I think he's going to turn on Harry and Peter, and
because he probably thinks he's worth more than like in value to them, like because he can come up with all this stuff and do all this stuff, and they're kind of like, no, we just want this basic stuff. So I can see him being a little bit.
Oh, like his ambition outstrips his necessity,
like he wants more,
and his
and
ego,
to prove he can do more. Yeah,
his ego isn't going to be able to take the being a subordinate for long.
Yeah, and like kind of the rejection from them on his ideas and the things that he's coming up with as well. Because
I did think it was funny when like he offers the armor to Peter, the one with like the rockets and the RPGs and shit, and Peter's like, "No, I'm good." And Otto looks like, "What the fuck, dude? I made this for you."
That's what I'm saying. I think he's going to like get kind of like ticked off. It's like you had somebody help you, and they were like doing your homework and taking your tests and stuff for you, and then they get mad because you're not saying hey in the hallway and being friends with them like outside of school. And I feel like that's the energy that he gives, honestly. So, but those definitely were arms. And I do think that he was like Buffalo Bill, like it puts the lotion on its skin in that apartment wearing Peter's robe and slippers. So,
which, given what happened with Superior Spider-Man, my brain's going to always go there. So we have Shadow back for next month. And then issues 20 and 21 will have Dave Messina. So just FYI.
Sorry, the book has gotten a little I don't hate Messina, but it feels kind of weird. Like the balance between feels a little inconsistent, and I wish Chichetto would have more time on.
Yeah, because like his Spider-Man is so good, man.
Yeah, and it's
Although
always
I gotta say, okay, I saw a comment today. It's like, oh, you designed the best Spider-Man suit or whatever. It's like it's the same suit he always wears, except the front logo is different.
the front logo looks like it did in 1969.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it.
Okay, so Neil, I mean, you kind of peppered in your thoughts, but
They're very good. I think some of them were in the intro.
very insightful.
What I say? Well, sorry.
I was asking you for your thoughts, but
Your thoughts?
I mean, I've kind of sprinkled them in all over the place. It's pretty good. I don't know if I'd give it an A+, but it's definitely still in the A range for me. Just Chichetto really nailing. I got to give credit to Arciniega. Like I don't know if Arciniega is a he or a she or a they, but they've done a really good job taking over from Matt Wilson, like really nailing the dulcet tones of a night skyline. Really leaning harder into the shadows. Like in the pages where Peter and Harry are swinging, there's a lot of emphasis on shadows and stuff, and I think that's I really appreciate that. Like the page where Peter is hanging off of the statue, I think that's really a really good looking shot. Like the shadow composition is really good. And that's part of my problem with Messina is that the shadows are kind of all over the place. Chichetto really has a really good emphasis on anatomy and the placement of lighting. Okay, I forgot to mention this earlier. MJ, Balasu brings it up that MJ is really underutilized in this series.
Agree.
And
I do agree.
While I don't think it's offensively bad, I do think that
we need a little more.
It seems like he doesn't want to do anything with her.
Yeah, it's true. It's all. I mean, and like that's his
extremely okay.
Dude, the Richards, like, dude, did they know? Like, does anyone know? Besides, like, does she know that he's in the
her
suit?
son? Her son is like, Spider-Man too?
Like, come on, like now that is like the Peter stuff, fine, like whatever. But like, this is her son.
Yeah, like her 15-year-old kid.
He doesn't have superpowers. He has a suit that, like, who knows what could happen with that thing. Like, who knows? It could short circuit and he's swinging around and then he drops and he dies. Like,
I love that you are putting out my anxieties of being a parent every single day because your brain goes to the worst scenario that could ever happen sometimes when you're worrying about your kids. And I do actually agree with that. Like, I don't think she knows that.
Imagine if Richard dies. We were talking about this before, and because we were like, "Oh, as a joke, Richard's gonna die or whatever." Like,
and then the stakes, yeah.
And then we for that. But then we started talking about it last time. It's like, oh well, now if he dies, there's kind of it's more interesting in this way because he's part of the game now. But then imagine like if that happens, and then Mary Jane like. There's no way that I feel like there's no way that Mary Jane stays with Peter after that. Like
even though Richard chose to go on his own volition, like
it's still like why didn't you stop him? Why didn't you talk him out of it?
Well, they were fighting crime in the desert, so
does she know that?
No, because I would have packed up that RV and been like, "Get your ass in there, we're leaving." Like the mom mode would have came out and been like, "We're going, like give it up."
I'm not even saying like there needs to be like a screaming match, like because I know people on Twitter are like, "Oh, why are they have to be in a scream match?" They don't have to be in a scream match. But like there's no sense of like apprehension or reservation about hey. You uprooted my entire life to go fight the fucking capos in New York, and now we've lost our jobs and we're bumming in the middle of Utah. Like, there's been no reaction to that. Like, even ignoring the implications of Richard being Spider-Man and what comes of that, MJ in this universe is like explicitly career-driven. There's been no mention of like the impact that Peter has had on their lives by being Spider-Man.
She's just trying to be loving and supportive.
That's the problem, is that she's too loving and supportive.
That's kind of my point, is that like she is entirely too okay with all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the snippets that we're seeing. And that's where, to Adam's point, the monthly format is hurting the book, because I'm sorry, but there's a lot of stuff that's not been said or not being said, because we're getting just these monthly snapshots into this story. Like,
but who's to say that's not coming either?
That's true.
Because sometimes those few drops in the bucket here and there, they start to add up until your bucket's overflowing as like a female perspective. And then that's when sometimes you just explode. Like you take everything, with that grain of salt, and you're like, okay, I can handle this. I can do this. We can make this work, all these different things. But then it just becomes too much. And it's not like a screaming match. It's just here are all my feelings all at once, like accept them. And like, you have to listen to, my feelings at this moment. And it might be an inopportune time, but I do think we're going to see more with her. And I feel like it's going to be on the paper side of things with Ben and Jonah, because of that article, all that stuff like involving them. I feel like it's going to start to affect her too. So at least in my brain, I think they will incorporate that more. I hope so.
I'm hoping, because it feels like we've
because
been
they
hoping for
should.
more MJ for shit. When was issue 4? Like April of last year. We've been waiting more than a year. We're like, okay, I hope MJ gets more to do this time. And then
like MJ, they have to do an issue with him, like with MJ.
Please.
I mean, they did
Jonathan
like that.
Hickman, I'm begging you.
Yeah, they did that, Thanksgiving one or whatever, Christmas one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where
They
MJ's
did that one with her, but even still, she was just a
him.
moving part. It wasn't really about her.
Was that MJ's mom? As the fifth
No.
Mysterio?
No, I think it's
think it's
Vanessa
it's
Fisk,
Valentina?
because
It's probably Vanessa Fisk, because the hair. The OG Vanessa Fisk has the white temples.
oh my god, transgender Reed Richards.
What?
Based?
Why? Okay.
The white temples.
Oh, okay. So again, this is where Peter is extremely forgiving of Harry. Now we know we're getting a dinner conversation,
Right,
or 2 issues from now. Vis-a-vis the solicitations. So like next issue is going to be a fight, which again, Cheto is going to excel at. It's going to look beautiful. It's going to be the best. And then we'll have, another dinner scene with Peter and Mary Jane have another fateful. So apparently Mary Jane's going to show up allegedly in issue 20. So I wonder
Maybe we get a table flip or something like the Real Housewives of the Ultimate Universe.
Well, and maybe we get a situation where we're getting most of this from MJ's perspective, and where she just finally is sitting here with these 3 people that have completely uprooted her life and made her kids live in an RV for months on end.
For the plot of Ben 10?
I don't know.
Ben 10, the alien,
The Alamau.
So like, you know what I mean? Like if it's done with the perspective of MJ, I think that would be extremely compelling, because you just don't want to do the same thing twice, right? So why not use that as an opportunity to get shit from MJ's perspective? Because maybe at this point, MJ's laying it out. Look, this is what you did here and here and here. We had a freaking AI that was posing as my husband during fucking Christmas. Are you kidding me? Like, she finally just talking about what you're saying.
Flip
there.
the table.
Like
the table.
Like Real Housewives, or like Jesus in the temple chasing them out with a freaking whip. Whatever.
I don't even know if Richard's going to be back to them. Like, are they going to let him go? Or are they going to hold on to him? And then that's another whole aspect that they're going to have to deal with on top of it.
Oh, no. I think Richard's going to... He's
going to be really cool if he places a bug on his mom while they're going to dinner. And MJ's like the unwitting...
pawn?
Yeah, the unwitting catalyst for like everything coming undone.
I don't believe in like hitting your kids and stuff. That's just me personally. But if
Jesus
my kid
Christ.
did that and you put me out there and you bugged me, yeah, you in big trouble. That might get me to lay some hands.
I'm gonna bend you over and take that belt to ass.
Like bugging your mom. Oh my gosh, that would be wild.
Hey, I grew up with a fucking wooden paddle. It didn't take many times to get swatted, but I got swatted a couple of times. They just had to break the paddle out and just set it on the damn table. And you're like,
like I said, I would hope that Richard would not do that to his parents. And I don't want to believe that he would either. Because I think they've done a good job raising him.
Well, what I'm saying is that like they might just blackmail him into doing it. You know what I mean?
That's true. Well, because she knows his identity. So, but I don't think the other ones do. I think
she's kept that to herself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But also, like, if you ever dump me, I'm gonna let the world know who you are. I feel like she's one of those.
Who? Gwen?
Yeah.
No, Felicia.
No, Felicia.
Oh yeah. No,
She's like, I'm gonna make a post about this everywhere. Gonna make a TikTok dance up to it and post a picture.
No, it's like that. It's like that edit of Injustice where Superman does like the duck lips face and it says Bruce Wayne is Batman and he leaks it all over.
That's gonna be her.
Has that panel from New 52 where he's like, where Hal Jordan's looking at was, who the hell is Bruce Wayne?
100%.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, this was decidedly much less chaotic than last time.
Yeah. You know, I mean, this issue was kind of straightforward. But we got some.
Had
Spidey.
Everybody though.
Like, we kind of just meaned most of the time.
Well, no, everybody. I think I had really nice points.
On last issue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, you know.
That was fun though. I enjoyed memeing.
Listen, I mean, sometimes you got to have a little bit of variety when it comes to these shows.
Especially that Transformer one we did.
Yeah. By the way,
did you guys see that Dan Moore is taking over Transformers? By the way,
Jess, you, it's not
mid.
Sir, I vehemently disagree with you. I think your take is terrible, and I expect you to elaborate.
Yeah,
right
please
now.
Explain your reasoning behind why you thought it was mid. It covered all the bases.
Like we got Spidey, we got Old Man Yowie for Ashley.
I'm honestly gonna get a tattoo for this. I'm not joking.
Don't yet. Think about that first.
The closest we could have gotten to Old Man Yowie
was this one.
This issue, and like
sharing the bed.
Ashley's like,
been saying it since day one.
like she's like that. She's like that one guy peeking out from behind the tree meme. Which is really appropriate given what I'm wearing right now is a highlighter yellow shirt. She's like, give me that Old Man Yowie. Oh yeah.
That is me. Yes.
That is Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
Chat, give us some more thoughts that you got, especially Jess. Provide more to your.
Yeah, you can't say it and then not give the rest.
Okay, he says, I think just Richard is getting on my nerves. I think about it. I wish he wasn't Spidey. Maybe this arc will make him quit. I don't know.
So yeah, because now he's a liability.
Right.
More so than he was before. Somehow he's more of a liability than he used to be.
When he has the powers.
Which is kind of impressive when you think about it. Like,
yeah.
How can you become more of a liability when you have a giant AI suit? Yeah, I did enjoy the little bit where like where Richard's invisible and they find out my wife is Mysterio, and he's like, what? And then like the AI,
everyone's like, what?
like the AI Peter also was like, what? Like that made me giggle. I'm not gonna lie. I read that. I saw that bit. I was like, okay, yeah, okay, because like you have Peter saying what, and then Richard and Peter AI saying what, and I was like, okay, yeah, that the father like son. It just made me giggle. It's good to see that Richard can maintain a healthy relationship long distance. Congratulations to him.
Also, congrats that he's not like that reptile teen from the other.
Oh,
from
Billy
Spec.
Connors.
Probably Billy Connors.
Awful.
I love how
Awful.
you don't even know who the lizard's son is. She's like, oh, the
I
lizard.
don't- I
brother.
didn't like him.
Reptile teen.
Isn't he on Avengers Academy now?
Who knows?
I don't know.
He's like in one of the Infinity comics where like he gets like amnesia and becomes a bad guy for a minute, and then like they restore his memory, and he's I guess an Avenger now. Fuck it, everyone's an Avenger now
Well,
except Nova.
I don't like that at all. He's still the
Which-
same,
wait, hang on, which-
perpetually a weird,
which Nova?
whiny teen.
Richard,
Richard was
Richard-
a reserve member.
but he's not like an actual Avenger. It doesn't really count. Not in
Well,
the same way that like Sam Alexander was.
Well, I mean, like,
Like, do we consider Spider-Man an Avenger until
Yes.
New Avengers?
he was a reserve member of the Avengers. He
I know,
wasn't-
but does that really is that like? I don't know if does that count. I mean, I
Well,
don't know
okay,
if
it
reserve
was-
member.
I
really
don't like
counts.
talking about this. It's giving me Endgame, and it's playing in my head.
It's power leveling.
And I don't.
no, she's like now in her brain. It's the final battle in Endgame where Peter shows up through the portal, and that's where her brain's going.
Is Mr.
It's
Stark?
less of a okay.
I can't. Nope.
Mr. Stark, it smells like a new car in here.
That was Infinity War. It's less of a thing post Avengers Disassembled. It's not as much of a thing as it used to be. It used to be a much different thing before Bendis came and broke the Avengers for reasons.
In fairness, he succeeded for better or worse.
Yeah, I still
Was that Braveheart? That sounds like a Braveheart thing.
yeah, Brevoort was involved.
Yippee!
No, not Yippee. It was terrible. Like if you're in a
Yippee,
like
yippee,
most
we
law,
don't
like
know. I
anybody,
have no idea what's happening.
okay,
Yippee,
the
yippee.
outcome ended up working out okay, but that's just because he was dealing with like the outside of like Sentry. No offense to Thunderbolts fans, but like he got basically he was playing with house money. He destroyed the OG Avengers to sit there and put Wolverine and Spider-Man on the Avengers with Iron Man and Captain America, and was like, okay, here you go. And then it did reignite a fascination with the Avengers and made the Avengers a premier super team, but that was a pragmatic thing. If I'm making sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a success, doesn't mean that it was a good story for longtime Avengers fans.
I'm paying attention. I'm just working on a thing.
Gamer Sly Ratchet says, good issue. Otto living like a slob after being so straight-laced for so long amused him. I wish there was some tension over Harry faking his death, but maybe that'll come in the next dinner issue.
Maybe with like Gwen and stuff, or no, not with Gwen, with MJ and that, but I don't know. I feel like he kind of just brushed it aside and was just happy his friend was alive.
Yeah. It's like he's so happy that he didn't watch his friend die that
Yippee!
that he's like,
But now my wife is pissed that we had to go to Utah.
Yeah.
And the prom is tomorrow.
I don't know. I think it's going to be strange if that house isn't clean when she gets back there.
Why'd you do that?
That still works, though. I mean, I think someone's going to be in big trouble if that house is not clean when MJ comes back.
Oh yeah.
when MJ gets back, she's gonna go thermonuclear on.
Oh, yeah.
Who the fuck are you, and what did you do in my fucking house?
Mm-hmm. I mean, real estate's expensive in their area.
Especially in New York.
Squatters, yeah, in New York. I mean, squatters' rights. I could see why he was living there.
I could see MJ like hanging Otto by his leg out the balcony, and he'd be so embarrassed that he's gonna build the Otto Octavius.
That's his Dr. Octopus origins that MJ
that's
fucking
the
shames him and
MJ.
I refuse to be small ever again.
Exactly.
She hits him with his own arms. I could see that happening.
Not anymore, Zorhan, baby. What is that reference to?
Zoran Mamdani, the New York mayor candidate.
Oh well.
Yo, Peter and MJ become Zoran Mamdani fans.
I'm gonna leave that alone. Just gonna
All right. I gotta go let the dogs out. So let's wrap this issue up.
All right, everybody. So, any final thoughts from the panelists? Adam, Ashley, anybody besides Neil having to go let the dogs out? All right. I do want to thank everybody for being patrons over at patreon.com/Spideydude Network. Patrons like we see up on the screen, like Allison, Cindy, Casey, Doug, Ed, Eric, Georgia, Greg, Janelle, Jessica, Joyce, Catherine, Kale, Laura, Howard, Lump Moose, Master Trammon, Phoenician, RJ, Vanessa, and Vicky. Our spectacular patrons, Tara, and we have our VIPs, Vinkman and Walter. You see our Friendly Neighborhoods tier of patrons up on the screen. They will get their audio shout-outs at the beginning of each episode. If you have not already checked out the regular Spidey Dude experience, we are in Season 5, where we're talking about Spider-Man, written by Joe Kelly. Latest episode of Make My Mayday was a conversation with Frogoat. So if you have not checked that out, audio edition's coming soon. We've got Books of X, which is a part of the Patreon page. Gonna have another episode dropping soon because me, Neil, and Ashley are going to be talking about more Krakoan era of X-Men. Speaking of the Patreon page, you can find the video version of Voices from the Eyrie available right now with the latest episode. You can go find that over on the Patreon page. The audio edition, of course, is available for free on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Speaking of free podcasts, we have Hobby and Jack Trujillo with the Amazing Spider-Man Classics podcast, our Vault series, which is the Clone Saga Chronicles podcast, and the Spectacular Radio podcast, which are completed podcasts. Also, want to give a shout out to the Sal Buscema era podcast, which is barreling ever so closer to the final issues of the run that he is covering. Also, he has a Kickstarter that he's going to be starting very soon, so stay tuned for that. We will announce when we have links. Of course, if you want to check out our great interview with Greg Weisman, if you have not already, we cover the entirety of the Spectacular Spider-Men. And if you want the Transformers Intifada to continue, please let us know by leaving us comments. By leaving us comments in this episode. As always, you can find us on the social medias at Spideydude Radio on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Threads at Spideydude Network. You can find us over on YouTube. If you've not already subscribed to us on YouTube, we are at 874. Last time I checked, 874.
Yeah, I think we hit 879.
Oh, wait, we are at 879. Excuse me. We've added more people. So go find us over on the YouTube page. We were trying to get to 1,000. Please help us get that much closer. So if you're watching us live or after the fact, please just subscribe. It is free. You don't have to click the notification bell, but we do appreciate when you do. And of course, if you want to be like Walter and Sarah and others that have left us voicemails, we will play them live on the show. It's 818-925-6631. So that's 818-925-6631. Leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the show or any of the shows on the Spideydude Radio Network. Thank you guys for watching us. If you're watching us live, thank you if you're listening to us after the fact or on the audio edition. We will see you next time here on the Spideydude Radio Network.